Welcome to the Oral History Podcast, featuring stories from the oral history website voicesofoklahoma.com, where Oklahomans have given generously of their time to tell their life stories for present-day listeners and for generations to come. Our entire collection is available on the website voicesofoklahoma.com. Subscribe to be notified of new Oklahoma oral history podcasts. Here's another interesting storyteller from voicesofoklahoma.com. Francis W. Steve Stephenson was the founder of Steve's Sundry in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which he opened in November of 1947 at 12th and Harvard, where Steve shared space in a building with Ernest Moody Sr. of Moody's Jewelry. Steve met his wife Hazel while earning a marketing degree from Oklahoma A&M, now Oklahoma State University, and went on to work for a variety store known as S.H. Kress. He eventually opened Steve's Sundry, which was a complete drugstore without the pharmacy. In the early days of the store, Steve would also sell boat motors, lawn mowers, and fishing tackle, and became the first dealer in Oklahoma to sell Zebco reels. It was 1958 when Steve moved the store to its present location at 26th and Harvard. Listen to Steve tell the story of a bookstore that became Tulsa's bookstore because of the personal attention given to generations of readers. This interview was conducted in Steve's home in 2009 when he was 91. He had a tennis match scheduled for that afternoon. He was 93 when he died November 22, 2011. We thank our sponsors for making this story available on voicesofoklahoma.com.
My given name is Francis W. Stephenson. Lived all my life as Steve, born in Billings, Oklahoma. January 7th, 1918. Got through high school 1939 and college 1945.
Where did you go to school?
Oklahoma State. Finished school. Worked my way through at Tonkawa on grants and worked for Ward Buick in Stillwater. Paid my own way. Then we got married and moved to Tulsa and started our life.
When you said you started your life, what did you start as you came to Tulsa?
I came to Tulsa and got a job with S.H. Kress, and we were just a young couple starting out on a $20 a week salary.
And what was the name of the company?
S.H. Kress. It's like a TG&Y.
Okay.
I don't think they have now.
And so you went to work for Kress.
Yes.
And what did you do?
Well, I went on training scholarship. I just worked all over the store. They advanced me. And
what was your degree in?
Marketing.
Okay.
I was one of the first students in that school when they started it.
At OSU?
Yeah.
So then you were looking for a marketing job?
Yes. I turned down other jobs, but my granddad owned what they call a racket store where they sell a little bit of everything, wheat, and you sell out of the barrel, pickle barrel, and all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided to follow him. That's why I got a marketing degree and that kind of a job.
So you get your first job in marketing, and you're married to Hazel, your wife, at that time. This must have been what you really wanted.
Right. I had a good start.
Well, how long did you work for Kress?
When the war came, I didn't want to get drafted, so I enlisted in the Navy. And I was on recruiting duty in the Navy for 4 years.
You're in the military for 4 years, 41 to 45?
Yeah.
And you're coming out in 45?
Yeah, 45.
Then you go back to work?
At that time, why all the merchants pledged themselves to take you back. If you was working there and you satisfactory, they would take you back. So that happened to me, too. Then they sent me out to manage different little stores around town, Sapulpa and McAllister, and I got my training, on-the-job training, being manager of those locations.
How long did that continue?
2 or 3 years. I cashed out my savings. Moody Jewelry, Ernest had just finished building his building.
Who's that?
Ernest Moody. And so I had the south half of that. So I was there 10 years.
What location?
12th and Harvard.
12th and Harvard.
He still has a store.
He does.
When I moved 10 years later, he then took over my space.
What was your business?
As a Sundry store.
Sundry store.
And people at that time didn't know what a Sundry store was. It really was a new word, but I always described it as it's like a drugstore. We had the fountains and places to eat. It's like a drugstore without a pharmacy.
Okay.
That is the difference.
Drugstore without a pharmacy,
Yeah.
right? Why did you choose to do that? I mean, the Crest store was a variety store.
Yeah, but it was a chain.
But why did you zero in on the Sundry side? Was there something as you worked in this variety store, the Crest store, that thought, well, this could be my niche. This could be where I want to zero in? Because you could have started a variety of different businesses.
A pharmacy is a separate business, and I just didn't have the knowledge. Anyway, I just dodged that, and it worked out.
What was it called?
Sundry. And we sold lawn mowers, and we sold boat motors. Then we sold all the drug items except prescription. I had a complete drugstore supply, but I can't use the name drug in my name because I don't have a pharmacy.
Sounded like some hardware items you sold too.
Yeah. I had a friend, Russell Hass, who worked for a wholesale house, and they sold fishing tackle. So he told me, I'll get 2 samples for everything you need to sell fishing tackle. And then when you sell it, well, you pay me back for one and keep one, and you have your stock. That's the way we did it. So I grew with that. Then Zebco Reel came out at that time. It was invented by a barber, and he ate breakfast at our place. So he followed the progress of that reel, and when he finally got ready to sell it, he brought it by and showed me by going outside the store to cast it. Of course, you know what to do. They just take off. I was the first one that cast it.
The first
Yeah.
Zebco?
And it was so advertised that all the people were coming in and paying for them first. Davis Hardware was the...
Main hardware store?
Yeah. And so they also had these reels ready to go out. Well, anyway, Hull called me up at 5 o'clock and said, Steve, how would you like to be the first one to sell Zebco in Tulsa? I said, great. He said, okay, get on your telephone and start calling your people. You have them. So I stayed about till 10 o'clock that night and sold my 20.
Remember how much they cost?
$20.
So this was really a variety store.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, you called it Sundries, but
I
why did you call it Sundries?
That's the only word I know.
You could have called it Steve's Variety Store.
I just thought it was going to be different.
You didn't want to sound like you were competing with Cress.
Oh, I thought it was sundry items. There's a sundry items, and that's where I picked the word.
Sundry variety of things,
Yeah.
right. You used your cash-out money from Cress to start this store then, is that true?
Yeah, and more. Do you remember Ed? He started Farmer and Merchant Bank.
F&M Bank.
F&M Bank. He was across the street. And so I got ready to open and had all my money spent. And of course, he and I became friends. We were across. So I went over to borrow some money. And I forget how much I asked for it, maybe $800 or $900 or something. So we sit down and talk. He's a gruff guy. He said, I'll tell you, Steve, he said, that's not enough. You better take twice. So he doubled my note. He financed me for about a couple of years till I got on my feet.
And he's the guy who started F&M Bank.
And that is what I wanted to say is what makes Tulsa, is the independents help each other.
Yeah.
How many buildings in Tulsa are built by people wanting to do things? How many schools? How many libraries? That's what Tulsa is all about.
Yeah, that's very true. So then he allowed you to buy more stock then?
Yeah, he backed me. That was a good generation.
So we're talking in the mid-40s.
Yeah, because 58 is when I moved up to where I am now.
Okay, so you're about 1948 to 58 in that location behind Moody's.
Yeah.
Ernest Moody, you had good memories with him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Maybe your kind of store was the only one in town.
It was.
The fact that you sold a variety of things, but you did sell drugs. Did you sell any groceries?
No groceries.
But you had the food bar?
I had a regular cafe, stools.
Like you have now.
Yeah, exactly like we have now. Except we did serve full meals at that time, but we don't now. But
right.
That store is exactly, from that standpoint, the same store that we opened with, down at the other way. We sold tobacco, anything that we could make money at.
So then your store was a real meeting place then, because you served breakfast and lunch, and so everybody'd come into your store.
Telephone company had a building right across the street from us. All those people would come over between meals and stuff. They used to kid about, if you want to talk to the boss, call Steve. He spent most of his time over there.
So, 1948 to 58, do you remember some of the names of people, maybe famous names that may have been coming in, mayors?
Yeah. Well, fortunate, those boys grew up in my store.
Bob LaFortune then, very young?
Bob LaFortune and then his two brothers.
Those were good years for your business.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember any time that we didn't make money. That's a crazy thing to say.
But every year was a growing year. Always probably did better than the year before.
I know. I quit telling people that. See, we started in the hole, and it took a while to get out. I know that would sound like bragging.
Oh, no. That's very good. The fact that a business could start then and every year grew. That shows what a good businessman you were.
Well,
and you were meeting a need in the community. They liked this center. I mean, they must have come in and wanted to see Steve. And
yeah, the reputation I had is this. If we don't have it, we can get it.
And if we can't get it, you don't need it.
Yeah, that's right. That's the truth. I got it on my card.
Were magazines a big part of your store then?
When the big bookstore came in, all the bookstores were scared and they closed up and they're worried about and all that. And about that time, this friend of mine wrote a book called Cracker Jack Marketing. He gets the name from the fact that at that time, Cracker Jacks were a popular kid food. They went for nothing to up because they put a little toy in that box. A toy that wasn't worth a nickel. Yeah. But your son or daughter wants to buy that because they wanted that toy. So he called that Cracker Jack Marketing is to fill a breach. So I had books and I had magazines. Well, when these guys started moving in, they didn't have magazines in their stores then.
When who started moving in?
Barnes Noble and the other one. So I think he said, what you do is you find a niche. And my niche, we decided, was my magazines. So I just bought every magazine that came into Tulsa, except porno. I doubled my investment, doubled my size, and they didn't hurt us. Why? I think why is because the people, I think they were so patriotic, so loyal, that they would go to one of their stores, find a book they want, and come over and have me order one if I don't have it. They still do it. And so that kind of loyalty, it was great.
Much of this had to be built on you as a personality.
People don't want to buy me because they think the business would go down if I wasn't there.
So wrapped around you, yeah. Steve.
Yeah.
That was a good thing.
Oh, yeah. It's the only thing that saved us, I think.
People like to come in and just talk with you and have fun. Again, what made you niche the magazine?
Because of the profit.
But then what about the book side?
Well, the magazines carried the books. See, it's a theory. If you buy the same magazine once a week, you have to go in my store to get that magazine, and you walk through the books. Your turnover at magazine is 52. That's once a week on a lot of magazines. Your fast-selling one, Time, Newsweek, all those. And so I was getting 52 time return, and my book is getting 25.
So that was a marketing strategy.
Yeah. However, it's being used now. Jody is doing a great job. She has a lot of her books, only has one or two on the shelf. She sells one, she buys one. She sells, she buys one. I didn't get to that point, but she got there, and it helped her.
You mean Joni, the wife of your son David?
Yeah.
Would you have, like you do today, back then, we're talking still when you were on 12th and Harvard with Moody's, authors come in, and would you do that?
That started later then.
What about the hardware side? Did that drop off while you were there? These motors you talked about earlier? Did you continue to sell hardware? Because you don't sell that in your other store.
No, I dropped all of that. I also dropped sewing material and stuff.
So in time at that 12th and Harvard store, you realized you just didn't want to be in that business.
Well, I guess I wanted to expand, and I think that Ernest wanted me out because he wanted the space. He didn't make me, but he...
Oh, so you moved because Ernest began to grow himself, and he kind of wanted that space.
And he needed his space. But no, he didn't push me out. I just got the chance. It was a new location. It was much more into the community. I'm more surrounded by my customers. It worked out great. I was the second store in the place I am now.
So you moved then in 1958.
Yeah.
And that was at 12th, and now you just moved up the street, actually. You stayed on Harvard and moved up to... 26th. Was there another business when you moved in?
There was one women's store. It was a shoe store. And then I went in second, and then a barber, and then a graduate furniture.
So this store that you're in now was much bigger than the store at 12th and Harvard? You increased your square footage by...
Double it.
Or
more.
So, you make the big announcement?
We didn't spend the money on that. We just didn't have to advertise. People just came to it.
But there was no need to advertise.
That sounded like the bragging, but...
People followed you from 12th and Harvard to 29th.
They sure did. Those people still come in and say, I remember when you helped me do this, or you gave me that, or one of the things that I've done probably, I don't even remember all of them at all. But I have kids coming home from school, come in and give me $2, and I said, what for? I said, well, I stole one of your Playboys last week, and I just have to pay you for it. It's happened. I'll tell you one funny one. There's a church on 31st right down the street from us, and the minister's son was maybe 7, 8, 9 years old. But anyway, he started to take a magazine. And I had a policy that whenever I caught these kids, I'll pick up the telephone and I'll make a call to the police, and okay, no, I'll let him go, but okay. And they just said, like a shaking, you know. So his son did that, and he went home crying. His dad called, and he said, what happened to Johnny down there? I said, well, I don't know if you want to know, but I did it for you. I gave him a lesson, and he was stealing a magazine. He said, no, that's what I want to know. Thank you, thank you. He and his boy both came back and brought me the money. Now, 30 years later, the preacher came back in Tulsa, and he came to me and said, I'm supposed to buy a book on Oklahoma. I said, well, okay. He said, my son is a minister out in Seattle, and that's where he starts every new place he goes to tell that story.
How he stole a magazine.
Yeah, and how it changed his life.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I can't quit. I can't just sit. Because I'm always hearing those, I still hear them, and that's bread and butter. You're egotistical, but yet it's good for you.
It is. That's what made your business, because it was more than making a sale.
Yeah.
It was about people.
Yeah.
The store where you are now, has it always been laid out like it is today?
Nothing has changed that's permanent. Just the bookshelves are moved around.
You know, it's interesting how you have that food bar back there.
I hate it. See, I had everything down at the other store, and I had to get back there and wash dishes just with the rest of them. That's what the boss always did. So when I came down here, I wasn't going to do that. Well, that business went with us, and I was back there washing dishes and doing the lunch hour and stuff. There never has been over 2 or 3 of those fountains in Tulsa. It was a real popular fountain down at the end of Boston. All the kids would drive and go down there after school, and so I bought that and put that in this store. Well, that rail on the fountain bar, if you put your hand under there, you'll feel gum, hard gum. And people said, why don't you take that off? I said, no, we have a lot of fun. And here comes somebody like Bob, the Fortune, his wife, 6 of them. I've got some gum under there, I know. And those kids are men now, but they still recall that. It's always funny when they come and show their grandmother. But
you bought that from the fountain at Boston.
Yeah.
Did they close? Is that why you bought it from them?
Yeah, they closed. He died. Instead of having to build one, they just moved it over into mine. I didn't have to do anything.
So that bar comes from that fountain.
Yeah.
And that just happened when you were moving into your store.
Yeah. I got the ice cream machines. I got everything that goes with it. They almost gave it to me. We had a company here called Hawk's Ice Cream, real good ice cream. They moved it, put it in, hooked it up, never charged me a nickel as long as I buy his ice cream. I didn't have to pay anything. That's another case of the kind of people we have in Tulsa. They didn't have to do that. They knew good and well that I couldn't buy a new one, but they made the deal and they stayed with it.
It was a great time then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. Now, you'll be talking to the people now are my age, and so they'll be bringing up stories like that too.
Could make deals on a handshake.
Yeah.
So here we have the 60s and some of the turmoil of the 70s. It never affected your business at all? Your business continued to grow?
I don't know how I did it. I didn't advertise. I wasn't a big donor.
I guess some of this you chalk up to magic. There was something about that. There still is. Your personality, and then the people you hired.
Yeah.
You had to find a certain kind of person to do that.
Yeah. I've got a real good staff now. Joni is running it. She's going to get it soon when the time comes. Mm-hmm. She is going in my footsteps. I tell her, she said, well, you taught me. I said, well, you're taking it all past where I would have taken it, because she has moved this store around and she's got a lot more technical stuff that I never would mess with.
It's interesting that the store today, despite the fact that we do have Barnes & Noble and all those big chain stores, you still are surviving in that store. Why do you think that is?
I can't think of any reason. I was just so scared that they were going to cut price and run me out. And they didn't even cut price. I'll tell you one more story, too. The president of a bookstore chain, I met him at a book convention, and he offered to have a counsel with anybody if they had problems. Anyway, he had retired, and he crossed his feet, and we just talked for an hour. And he pointed out that it's not the pricing, Steve. He said, we're going to always have books at discount. That's what we live on. But he said, go back and check and see how many of the books that we have on sale, special price, that you carry and how many you don't. He said, you'll find that one book or two book discounted is all you need. You don't need to discount your whole store. He said, your bestsellers meet your competition, but don't go nuts and go through your whole store. That helped a lot. I wasn't afraid, so we just met him, and it's your choice to buy the book at our place or somebody else. So that helped. That was from the competition.
But you see, you provide this down-home Tulsa, this is a Tulsa store.
Yeah.
And these other chains come in and they have a bigger variety. There's no question about that. But it's not that homey feeling.
Well, Joni has kept it that way.
Here we are in 2009. When did you start kind of pulling away from the business?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
You're 91 now.
Oh, yeah.
So 86th birthday maybe? And it's interesting how the store continues to be successful.
That is the biggest worry I had, was that it would change. The last year, everybody is down this past year, you know.
So it's Jody, and who are the other people who are working there now?
Jody and Jerry. Jerry's been with me ever since he got out of high school. Didn't even finish the last year, and I tried to make him go back and finish it, but he wouldn't do it. He's not uneducated. He's a smart guy. And we have Susie. She's a buyer, and she's been with me about 35 years. Bookkeeper is about 10 or something like that. The cook changes over.
And so there's still something special that you wonder, you're not there as much, and the store is still successful.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to happen, so I'm glad it does.
There's something, though, when you just walk in the store, that we like that old feeling, and it's familiar. I think that's why we like it. Of course, you're in a good location, you know.
Yeah.
Some of these other big bookstores would love to have that location and be there.
I really expected them to try to buy me out several times. The people came in and walked around and stuff, but I wouldn't sell out to a chain. I contracted with Joni, which I didn't need, but it just made me feel good, is that the name would never be changed as long as I'm alive. There'll always be a Steve Sundry.
25 years from now, when you're gone, it'll still be Steve Sundry's.
Yeah.
That's got to make you feel good.
It does.
Do you have any more stories or any highlights that may have happened to you in the store there?
Well, it was when Margaret Thatcher of England came over here and talked to Rotary or something. During the World War, Germany was about to get England. And so England hired this oil company. They sent drillers over in the Sherman Forest. There was oil there, but England could not produce it. So Noble Oil.
Noble Oil.
They went over and they saved England. They worked under tops so that they can't bomb and see them. They lived with the natives. They did everything. Well, when she came over, she wanted a copy of that book. It had gone out of print. It told how all this was. Noble published it themselves, or had it published, and they gave me all they had left. I had it for about 3 or 4 years. So she wanted the book, and we couldn't find a hardback book for her. So I called OU Press and asked them if they had it. They said, yeah, why? I said, well, Miss Thatcher is here. And he said, well, we always keep 3 just to back up everything, but we'll send you one. So they sent me one, and we got her that book.
Was she in town?
Yeah.
And so you were able to give it to her?
Well, I was unhappy that he didn't, but he took the honor to do it.
So he then presented it to Margaret Thatcher?
That night, see, with no mention of Steve Sundry or anything.
Were you a reader of books down through the years?
I don't read books. That's the truth, number one. I'm always embarrassed. I always say, I sell them, I don't read them.
Yep.
I'm like a liquor store. I don't drink, but I sell it. I read all of Michael Wallis's.
The food bar, what percentage of your income would come out of that?
About 25%.
Oh, that was significant.
Yeah, and that's why I keep it. I wouldn't keep it for any other reason.
Is Jody committed to keeping that food bar?
She feels like that she has to have it.
Yeah, you can't change anything now. So, to kind of summarize, why do you think you, Steve Stephenson, were successful?
Well, I really don't know. So many things have been good to me that I didn't expect. I really don't know unless you believe in hereafter. That's the only guy I talk to every once in a while.
Yeah. But Steve, I think you could have been successful in any business, say retail. I mean, it could have been a hardware store.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been anything.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to put in a bookstore. White newspaper distributor here helped me put it in. He just came in one day and he said, did you know that we carry books? And I said, well, no. He said, well, I said, we do. And we put them in on consignment, and you get the books. They're guaranteed. What you don't sell, you send them back. And you can sell books in here. He said it's just like magazines, except the profit is different.
Is there more profit in magazines or books?
It's volume, but magazines are about 15%, and books are 40%.
And they put in the books in your first store at 12th and Harvard.
And the magazine the same way.
Somebody just came in and said, you ought to sell magazines.
Yep.
You have lived a blessed life, haven't you?
Well, that's what I say. Everything has happened good to me. I don't know who else to,
The man upstairs.
I still use him.
We do that. We do. And then you got to say something about Tulsa, because this town has been also good to you.
I can give you examples of that. Tulsa Public Schools buy books from us. We started that. The librarian at Hall came over one day and said, can we work out some way that you can buy our books for us? And so we worked it out. We gave them 25% discount, and now we have Tulsa. One of the big stores, they are right across from Hall on 81st. So they said, we're going to get their books. And they went over there and just practically gave them the opening stock, and they cut us off. So we didn't get angry at Hall. We just went our way. And so a little bit after Christmas, when you get your school books in, they didn't have the school books for Hall. They had to scrap around and find their books, and that took care of that. We got that business back.
That's great.
There's another story. One time, there was one book that the public schools, that every student must have the book. And I called the wholesaler and ordered them. I don't know how many it was. But they said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, it's for a school. We're going to have some kind of a down payment or something." So I just guaranteed it. We got them, and we put them all over Tulsa.
Back in the 60s, and when you got started, would people come in and they couldn't afford a book? Would you start a charge account for them?
For a long time, we'd just take everybody's charge account. I mean, not everybody, of course, but that's the way that we got our higher class business, is that their children could come in and charge. And we take the charge, 5-cent candy bar, charge it, send them a bill.
You know, your business thrived, and did you get out and become a member of the Chamber of Commerce?
I belonged to the Chamber of Commerce, but I didn't attend. I should have more. I didn't know. I never joined anything except the Rotary.
But did you interact with, say, Harry Clark of Clark's Good Clothes, or there was Brown and Duncan, wasn't there, and Bishop's Drive-In?
No, I didn't associate with any of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't in their financial range.
Not in their financial range? Is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, they were in a bigger class. They were higher class.
No. Nobody's higher class than Steve.
Well, no, but I did tell Joni, when Joni took over, I said, "Joni, you've got to get out and get in those places because you can get a lot of extra business." But why did you do it? Well, because I didn't like to go out and talk my friends into buying something. And that's the reason that I didn't. But she did. She went out and she's doing well.
Yeah, I've seen her out.
Yeah.
We should say that here at 91, you're going to play tennis this afternoon, aren't you?
Right.
Where did you pick up playing tennis?
High school, I guess.
Were you ever on a tennis team in school?
Yeah, I played it. I didn't play in college. I had to work. And then I started playing again when I got my.
Playing tennis has kept you active, and you're good at it. And here you are, 91. Did you ever think you'd live to be this age?
No, I didn't.
And why do you think you've been allowed to live to be 91? Is it your lifestyle?
Oh, I think it has to be a lifestyle. I just always exercise. I'm not good at sports particularly. I play tennis, that's about all.
You still play tennis?
It's hard to stop. And then at the same time, I decided I better quit driving because I was having some trouble. It's been about 3 or 4 months now, and that's hard to overcome.
I bet it is.
My wife is very good and very nice, and she drives me to the place I want, and the neighbors will take me.
You had children?
Yes, 2 boys.
2 boys?
Yeah.
And where are they?
Rick is a professor in charge of his department at Wallis, Missouri. David, my youngest son, is minister at Skytook, doing well up there. They both got college educations.
Did they work in the store ever?
Just on weekends and during vacations.
Did they become readers?
Yeah, they both do, especially Rick. I think David reads quite a bit. I know that Joni does, so I'm sure that he does. Mm-hmm. My wife is a constant reader.
Your wife, Hazel.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, I just want to thank you for visiting with us. It must be gratifying that, you can put magazines on a shelf and books on a shelf, but somehow you brought them all to life. Your personality, you're always smiling, fun, kidding with you, all that kind of thing. And people would probably, as much as coming in to buy the magazine, they wanted to see you too.
They'd bring the kids around. I used to sit over there, read a funny or play with the toys, or they appreciated it.
Many, many people who have moved all across the country now can remember you and going into Steve Sundry's. That makes you feel good.
Yes, it does.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, thank you.
You have been listening to the Voices of Oklahoma podcast. Stories taken from the oral history website, voicesofoklahoma.com. At the website, you will discover an array of storytellers. Many you will know. Some will be new to you, but all will be worth your time. This work depends on listeners like you, who are interested in learning about the great people of Oklahoma. Our website provides an opportunity to donate to this 501c3 project, which preserves Oklahoma history, one voice at a time. voicesofoklahoma.com.